I am proud to announce to the world that I am indeed a gentle minion. Despicable Me 4 came out. Look, I got Bob right here. I also got this banana right here. Let's show these off. And Despicable Me 4. Sometimes Hollywood needs a cash cow. And good Lord, are these guys like printing billions of dollars for Universal. And it's necessary for the survival of Hollywood. And if Despicable Me 4 is the level of competency that I can expect from a big corporate billion-dollar movie, hey, I can't really complain. And we'll talk about that today because these minions really are everywhere. I got these at Universal a few months ago when I went down in February. And listen, I get it. Minions should annoy me. They talk like gibberish. They're doing their silly antics. They're evil people. Like I shouldn't care about this Minions franchise. But here's the thing. I'm not impervious to their charm. I mean, look at this guy. Look at Bob. He's pretty cute, isn't he? I'm not impervious to the charm. I have a heart. And also, let's just get the math right. Despicable Me, the first one came out in 2010. I was 12 when the movie came out. I was a good audience for this. I saw this movie at the age of 12. Minions have been a part of my life for 14 years, or I should say the Despicable Me franchise has been a part of my life for 14 years. And what I can say is, the shtick of the Minions. Like, sometimes it makes me laugh. And that's what we're talking about today with Despicable Me 4. Because I, as a 26-year-old man, have found myself, amazingly, despite all the negative reviews I give each year, to movies that you guys all yell at me online for having negative thoughts on. Dune 2, 2 stars. Despicable Me 4. I liked it. What can I say? Let's just start there. Let's get it going. Here's the thing. I like these movies for their willingness to be earnest and silly. Despicable Me, at its core, is a family movie. And throughout the family and the shenanigans going on in the movie, it never forgets that core. It never forgets that there's a heart at the center. And it's probably why the Minion movies don't work as well for me. Because, you're just with these guys. Imagine a lot of these like this. You're just with these guys the whole time. And sometimes the humor, it wears off. As cute as Bob is, Banana, he can't carry a full movie. Here as a supporting character, yeah, they're great as supporting characters. And that's what I like about these Despicable Me movies. They have a lot of heart, and they all have the same format. They all have a lot of the same jokes and similarities, but I enjoy watching them. And Despicable Me 4 follows that same format. Here we follow Gru and his family who are forced to go into hiding after a former class rival of Gru's named Maxime Le Mal breaks out of prison in search of enacting his revenge on Gru. Hijinks ensue as Gru and his family, including his newborn, take refuge in the suburbs and all assume aliases. But everything doesn't go quite to plan when Gru's neighbor, Poppy, a teenage girl, discovers Gru's secret identity and forces Gru to help her pull off a villain heist that will get her into villain high school. Steve Carell is especially funny in this movie, basically trying to make Gru a normal guy in a world that doesn't have anyone that looks like Gru and where Gru just stands out completely. Steve Carell gets some really good laugh lines in this movie. I also thought Will Ferrell gave a really funny, memorable performance as the villain, Maxime. Funny enough, true Maxime villains this week in the theaters with Ty West Maxine. You get really memorable, funny performances from both. Joey King, who plays the teenage girl, she's good in this movie. She has some laugh lines. They're all giving performances that feel earnest to what this movie is trying to achieve. And they're all playing their parts really well. And meanwhile, these guys, the Minions, what are they doing? Well, imagine Bob has a cape. Actually, I don't think Bob's in this movie at all. But imagine the Minions have capes and they're superheroes and they're flying around and they're basically trying to be secret spies that are also superheroes. That's the shenanigans they're getting into in this movie. And I will have to give credit to these guys. Good job, actors. You're really good. I called them you. They have really good scenes in this movie with the superhero humor. There's one in particular, this whole subplot that involves them basically after getting their powers, they go out to save the day. And it's just this scene of them basically trying to save the day. And it's really funny. It's a 5-minute sequence or so. And it's a lot of jokes really quick. And this is when I laughed the hardest in this movie. I really thought this was a really funny bit in this movie, using the Minions humor to really good effects here. And here's the thing. Going into this movie, it's kind of obvious what the point of this movie is. You're getting a fourth Despicable Me movie and the sixth feature film involving Minions. Either you're with them and you like them or you don't. It's quite literally as simple. There's some fun elements into this movie that are sprinkled in that, sure, they might raise your enjoyment, but it's really the same thing. Like, even if you like some of the more quote unquote dramatic elements of this movie, it's not going to really radically shape your opinion on this franchise, to be fully honest. And sometimes I really have a challenge talking about movies like this, like Despicable Me 4, because one, I know I'm not the target audience, but two, I also know I can be really harsh to other movies, and like, this is not the quality of similar animated films that I love. It's not Spider-Verse. It's not Inside Out. It's not Inside Out 2. It's not Boy and the Heron. It's a movie that I watched, enjoyed for what it was, got a new Pharrell Williams song stuck in my head, which has been stuck in my head for a week since I saw this movie. It's a really catchy song. And it was a great date night for my girlfriend and I when we got to avoid 2 hours outside in the 110-degree Sacramento heat. We were supposed to go to a baseball game that night, but decided not to. And we instead went to go see a movie in air conditioning. Like, it was a great way to spend 2 hours in air conditioning and have popcorn and laugh a little bit. And that's what these movies do. And that's why I like this movie. And it makes sense that the audience seems to agree. Like, Universal / Illumination is not really depriving the audience of what they want. It works kind of for all ages. It's kind of charmless in that way. Anecdote real quick. I had a high school coach who was just like this really tough, hard ass guy. And he was so lovable, but he just had this like, grit to him and this toughness to him. And one of his favorite movies was the Despicable Me franchise. He loved these guys because his grandkids loved them and he thought the humor was really funny. And so on rainy days, we watched that movie in PE. And that kind of just speaks to the universal charm of these guys. You got the comedic voice actors of Steve Carell, Will Ferrell, Kristen Wiig. They're all doing it. They have 80s music for the parents. It's broadly funny enough for kids to get it. And it's also funny enough for parents to at least tolerate the humor that they might not care for and find other bits of it really funny that maybe go a little bit over the kid's head. It's a bunch of cute minions and a baby getting into hijinks for scenes in this movie. It's like 90 minutes and it feels lean. It moves at a good pace. Think of it like this. Think of Despicable Me 4 as being an Applebee's steak. And if you like that type of comfort food, you're going to like the Applebee's steak for what it is. Is it an Outback Steakhouse steak? No. Is it a steak from Gordon Ramsay's restaurant? Absolutely not. But if you just want a steak that day, this will do the job. And that's kind of what Despicable Me is as a franchise. If you like this type of comfort and this type of movie and the past franchise installments, then you'll like Despicable Me 4. I think personally, I thought this was probably the third best in the series, including the Minions films. I think the first two are the funniest and the best. So this is the best one since 2013. I think this movie is definitely better than 3. I think this movie is also definitely better than the Minions films. So good job to you guys. On a scale of 5 stars, actually, let's do bananas. On a scale of 5 bananas, I am going to give it 1 banana, 2 banana, 3 bananas out of 5 bananas for Despicable Me 4. Thank you all for watching this review. And if you liked my video and you like my props, make sure to like and subscribe below. Bob, tell the people what they should do. See, he's gesturing at you to subscribe. We'll be back Sunday. I should say me. Bob will not be back Sunday. I'm going to be reviewing Long Legs, the Nicolas Cage serial killer movie. I don't want Bob here seeing this movie because I don't want him becoming a minion for a serial killer. So Bob will not be joining me. He's saying bye to the audience, and I'll be back Sunday with my review of Long Legs. Thank you all for watching. Take care.